Hey, I'm John Cannell, and today on Preppy Kitchen, we're making some amazingly delicious peanut butter cupcakes. So let's get started. First off, set your oven to 350. I also lined 2 muffin tins with 18 papers, because this makes 18 cupcakes. Now, in a big bowl, I'm adding 1 3/4 cups or 210 grams of all-purpose flour. And I'm using a sifter today because I've had some clumps that are bothering me. Sifting is always optional. To buff things up, I want 1½ teaspoons of baking powder and 1/4 teaspoon of baking soda. I want 1/2 teaspoon of salt. I'm using kosher sea salt because I love it, and sea salt is very nice and mild as far as salts go. This gets added in after the sifting because the grains are too big for my sifter. There we go. Oh my gosh, the lumps. Now, 1/2 teaspoon of salt. Grab a whisk. My scale is done. And it's time to whisk things up. Get all those leavening agents and salt nicely distributed. These cupcakes, by the way, are so soft, full of peanut butter flavor, and the frosting is like a symphony of deliciousness. All right, set that aside, grab another bowl, and we're gonna get the wet ingredients together. Just kidding about the scale. There's sour cream in this recipe, and the sour cream is slightly acidic, and acids will give you a tender crumb in any cake you add them to. And they also have like a little bit of tang for a nice depth of flavor. So in a separate bowl, I want 1/2 cup or 120 grams of sour cream. I also want 2/3 of a cup or 177 grams of creamy peanut butter. Whenever we're using peanut butter for baking, I suggest you use like a processed peanut butter. It'll have stabilizers in it, so it's nice and creamy right out of the jar. If you want to use a natural peanut butter, that's totally fine, but you're gonna mix your little heart out so that it is creamy throughout, it's not too oily, it's not too solid, it's just right. I also want 1 1/4 cups or 275 grams of light brown sugar. Brown sugar has a wonderful extra little bit of flavor, so I love using it whenever I can. I'm breaking up all the clumps with my hand because those are just harder to mix, and we want everything to be silky smooth. If you have a clump of sugar that's stuck in the batter, it'll just melt during baking and you'll have like a big empty sweet void. These cupcakes are great to do with little kids, by the way, because they're all stirred together. So there's no mixer involved for the batter, just for the frosting. Now my scale is done for real. I'm adding in 3/4 of a cup or 180 mils of whole milk. I also want 1/3 of a cup or 80 mils of veggie oil. Any neutral oil will work, so if you want to use like avocado or sunflower or rapeseed oil, that's all fine. The nice thing about using oil on a cake is that it can come straight from the fridge and be really soft. Almost every baked good should be refrigerated, and if you're leaving them out on the counter, delicious, amazing. But if they're coming from the fridge, all the butter-based cakes and cupcakes, etc., are gonna be a little bit firm, and you kind of want to microwave them almost to warm them up and get them to be nice and soft. I'm also adding in 1 large egg and 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract. We're just gonna whisk these together until they're nice and smooth. The peanut butter and the sour cream are gonna give you the most resistance. Everything else is gonna be easy breezy. So just break it up to give it a start and then mix away. Bring back your flour mixture. You can create a little bit of a well in the middle just so it has a place to get poured. I'm gonna pour the peanut butter mixture in and just whisk it until it is just combined. Do not overmix your batter. And I love that this is all by hand because that's where you have the most control. Going nice and slow, whisking as I go. Ooh, look at this. Just a couple rocks of brown sugar. These are really firm ones. I don't know how those slipped my glance. Gaze. I don't know how I missed those. Just hunt and peck around for any little bits of flour lurking towards the bottom. And once it looks like those flour pockets are gone, just give it just a good mix for like a few seconds. Time to transfer these to a cupcake paper. This batter has like major peanut butter caramel notes. It's so good. You want about 1/4 of a cup per paper, so scoop that right in. Just try to not overfill your cupcake papers. You should end up with about 18 cupcakes. I, as usual, overfilled some, so I have 16 instead. These guys are ready to go into the oven, 350 for about 22 minutes or until a skewer inserted in the middle comes out clean. And you go. My cupcakes are out of the oven and they're cooling, but I want to show you something really interesting. This batch baked in the bottom third of my oven, this batch baked in the top third, and they're both delicious, but the top third one has a more golden color on top with a larger set of cracks. This is the opposite, lighter color, softer on the top, and small cracks, but the bottoms are totally different. So much darker, much lighter and softer. They're all gonna be delicious. If you want to have them completely consistent, bake exactly in the middle. But to be honest, I actually love the cracks. This is a little bit hard, just like a peanut butter cookie. It's like almost a little bit crisp just on the very edge and pillowy soft inside. I might have been snacking. While those cool, let's make our frosting. I want 1 cup or 264 grams of creamy peanut butter right into the bowl of my stand mixer. I have just enough peanut butter. That was 254. Now I want half a cup of softened, unsalted butter. Okay, we're gonna mix this up just until it is creamy, smooth, and I don't see any little bits of butter hanging out. Medium high for about a minute. While that mixes, you're gonna wanna grab 2 cups of powdered sugar. You can sift it if you want, and 6 tablespoons of cream. That's a little bit over 1/3 of a cup, I think. It's exactly 1/3 of a cup. My peanut butter is much softer than the butter, so I'm just gonna scrape the bowl down and really let this mix for a minute or two so that it gets nice and smooth. I see a few little bits of butter hanging around, and I don't like it. Mi casa, mis reglas. That's much better. Take a look. Creamy and so smooth. That on your toast, let me tell you, that's good. All right, with the mixer running on low, I'm gonna add in about half a cup of powdered sugar. Let that mix in, add another half a cup. So I'm adding 4 batches of sugar for a total of 2 cups. A little bit more. You can always go fast for a second just to throw everything off of the beater and then go back to slow. Sometimes it just accumulates inside of that whisk. Another half. I'm gonna go get cream. Last half cup of sugar. Keep mixing. If you notice anything on the sides, scrape the bowl down occasionally. This is coming out pretty clean, so I don't have to worry about that. The sugar's all incorporated, but if you take a look, this is so thick. No, 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 we don't like that. We want it to be kind of loose and have more slack to it. So I'm gonna add in a teaspoon of vanilla. That's a little better, gives you some more flavor too. And I'm gonna add in my 6 tablespoons or 1/3 of a cup of heavy cream. Increase speed to medium high. Increase speed to medium high, and we're gonna start mixing this up so it's beautiful, light, and fluffy. This looks great on the inside. The outside, however, needs a scrape. So scrape the bowl down. Oh my gosh, I could eat this stuff by the spoonful. So mix on medium high until it's light and fluffy and smooth. Okay. This looks great. Look at that. Gorgeous, light, and it's perfectly sweet. It is definitely not too sweet at all. Just the right amount. Oh my gosh. Let's pipe this up. Grab a delicious cupcake, and now I'm going to just pipe however I want. So start in the center, move out, and for some drama, I'm gonna add a little bit more on top. And just like that, my cupcake is ready to enjoy. If you want less frosting and more cake, you can just do a really simple rosette, just like that. Also looks pretty and it's nice and flat. It is time for a bite. So grab that bottom, sandwich it up. Look at that. That is a delicious mouthful. That is pure peanut butter flavor. It like slaps you across the face in the best way possible. pillowy soft, silky on top. You've got to make this recipe. And if you like this video, check out my cupcake playlist.